So I think, are we ready with the team one?
Yes,
No, which one is it?
We'll invite theme 1, and it will be team 8, the Reformers.
Okay, hello everybody. We're so glad we're starting first and we're introducing ourselves. It's team 8. We're team 8, we're the Reformers, and we're starting with our theme, which is Challenge 1B, and this is a challenge that we're working on. So I'd just like to start with a quick question. Who here has had a flooding inbox and a to-do list and still has been a little overwhelmed with what to do first? Okay. I'm going to say you're not alone. In the Victorian Public Service, unfortunately, this is not rare. So teams generally do not lack dedication. They simply lack structure. And across departments, time is lost more because people are figuring what to do, when, and to do that with whom. That's the problem that we're solving. That is with Pathwise. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So Pathwise. Pathwise is a smart, secure, dynamic, and customizable workflow prioritization framework which is made for the realities of government work and to improve efficiencies. So it captures the essentials such as urgency, capacity, deadlines, SLAs, and even dependencies, and it breaks down complex tasks in workflows into structured prioritized tasks. And it's designed to support routine, everyday decision making, helping staff stay focused, managers can allocate work smartly, and directors get operational clarity, all from tailored dashboards. So there are no extra systems, no disruptions, just better decisions, faster. And all of this is streamlining routine work, and this is how Pathwise frees up space for the one thing that we never have enough time for, innovation.
There's a countdown clock over here for everyone who's going to come up, so no pressure on the times. Fully customizable solution, really designed for high workflow, web forms, inbound queues, etc. So what we've got here, the tool will capture all of your inbound work that's coming in. It'll categorize that into all of your tasks based on your predefined attributes that you put in. It'll assign tasks out based on availability of your staff and the capability of your staff, which you input in as well. So it'll have the right task going to the right person at the right time. So we're going to take you through a little bit of an example here, and with that example, we're looking at a team who's got inbound applications that come in. So things such as general inquiries, urgent apps, new applications, new information required as some of the tasks. So each task would be assigned a priority. Each task would be assigned a time frame, an SLA, and an approximate time to complete. Based on all of that, we then input all of our different workflows. The workflows can be as complex or as basic as you want. The more complex the workflow, the more information that you're going to get out of there at the end. So for task 1, a general inquiry, you might just have start and stop. That's all you can really measure. For the other things, you might have stuff up there. You start, you ingest the data, you assess the application, you create a response, you notify. So you've got your whole workflow that's been created through that. Once all of that work then comes in, based on all of that, it will take all that information and assign the task through to the right operator. Again, right task to the right person at the right time. That's going to create your priorities for each of those tasks to ensure that they're done and create that efficiency within your team, so they're not sitting there going, what do we do next? Next slide, please. All right. We've already gained some efficiency in our priorities, but where the rubber really hits the road is when you look at each of the workflow steps. All of the information that comes out the end will show you what time is taken in each of those steps. In this example, the create response is about 71% of your time that you've taken to do that. So your team can go away, relook at why does creating a response take 71% of our time. If we go and fix that, that's going to create the efficiency in your workflow, and then as a repeatable function, that saves time again and again and again. We'll look at the tech solution now.
Thank you, Alan. To deliver this solution, we're going to park this all under Power Automate. Power Automate's going to drive this this process, and Power Automate's a feature that a lot of people struggle to use in their day-to-day. We're going to set this up with Power Apps to make it more user-friendly. That's going to go into your task input method, which is either manually creating tasks or coming through your inbox, and then assigning it in Planner. Doing this will have a flow that can be tracked by within the Microsoft 365 environment, and then it can plug directly into your data solution that is integrated with Microsoft 365. By keeping it within Microsoft 365, this makes it available to all the teams across VicGov at a minimal cost to set up as well. By setting it up with Power Apps, you can set it up within your team's SharePoint, and then you can tailor it to that team's work environment so it can be fairly quickly and seamlessly integrated, particularly with support from places like Centretex.
Time's pretty much up, so we look at all the benefits. The efficiency, really clear in terms of how it creates that in the prioritization, as well as fixing your workflows and identifying which workflows there are to work on. The organisation, the improvement there based on the public-facing side of things, they put an application, they're going to get done quicker, sooner, no extra work from when they call through and say, where's this at? We're working things in the right time. Your staff are all happy that they're not sitting there figuring out which work to actually work on next. And we create that continuous improvement piece within each of our teams to go and continue to solve those problems. So that's our solution. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Well done. That was fantastic, and we're off to a fantastic start. But we didn't get to hear your names or where you're from. So if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself. No, that's okay. And will your coach come up? You can quickly come. Yep. And the coach, will you jump up and also introduce yourself as well quickly?
Hello, I'm Sheridan Fry. I'm with Department of Justice in People, Safety, Culture and Communications area.
Hi everybody, I'm Jill and I am a Masters of Management Marketing student at the University of Melbourne.
Hi, I'm Charmin. I'm from Centretex.
Hi, I'm Jonathan. I'm from the Centretex Service Desk.
Hi, I'm Matt Lamont, and I'm from Emergency Management Victoria.
Hi, I'm Angela. I'm a grad at Centretex.
Alan McKinlay, Department of Justice in the fines area.
G'day everyone, I'm Coach Max Jacobs. I'm the Director of the Digital and Analytics Service at DGS.
Thank you so much. Another big round of applause for that first team that's come up. Thank you so much. Well done. Yes, judges, sorry. I'm like, sorry about that. Come on, is there any questions from the judges? Yes, please.
Hi, Justice colleagues as well. Good to see some of us representing. How does quality management or assurance work within this process? So I understand how it's helping with triage and the assignment to, to the resources and the skills that they have. Who's checking the work?
The work in itself isn't changing. This is the dashboard and everything and the tool that goes over the top in terms of the assignment of the tasks and the process flow.
So the whole idea is the system, not necessarily the content.
Yeah.
Got it. But within the workflow, you could put in the ability for it to be triaged through line management for a quick review.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. And then is it, in your view, when you're saying the right task to the right person, how intelligent will it be? Will it be able to understand people's rosters when they're working, how many things they already have, how dynamic is the prioritisation?
We envisage there to be a table that has all of the availability. So if once you've assigned 4 different tasks, as an example, you may have person A and they're only assigned to be able to do task 1 and 2 because they don't have the skill set. On top of that, you've got assignment opportunities. It may be a priority 4 for you, but with an SLA of 72 hours, we're at 71 and a half. That then would get a priority over something that's more urgent but has a longer SLA to ensure all SLAs get hit, as well as all of the tasks being done and put through the right channels to the right people.
Hello. Can you just give me a quick overview of the competitive advantage of this solution over currently available work management or service management tools?
A lot of the apps that involved with this application and tool, people are already using in their day-to-day lives, like MS Planner, Office 365 groups, all that sort of stuff. People are already using it on a daily basis, just tuning it to be able to be more useful and more just and also more seamless. So it's not creating another app. These are all systems that everyone's already using anyway.
So you're tying together the existing applications within available tool sets.
Right, and the fact that this is embedded in a government system where the data needs to be secure, there needs to be compliance as well. So we're trying to embed it all together in a seamless flow so as to ensure that the data also does not get out and it's within the system.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a great pitch. Good first start. What do you think is the greatest barrier to implementation of this solution?
The barrier comes down to culture and people. The largest challenge is adoption of change. Some of the struggles in various departments at the moment exist based on people set in ways and not willing to take on the challenge of doing something different. And the intent of this product is that it'll be so data rich, the use cases from people that do take up the technology and tool will be able to justify why others should go there. But it's going to be people.
Okay, I've just got one follow-up question and a different topic. So how was your collaboration in the team? What worked well and what didn't?
I'll be honest, we probably struggled a bit yesterday. We had a good night's sleep last night, as I think a lot of people probably did. We didn't probably take on a leader soon enough, and all sat back being extremely nice to each other, trying to figure out who was going to jump in. And everyone had some great ideas and a great skill set. It just took a little bit of time for everybody to understand that skill set of everybody and to utilize it fully. So yeah, it took us 24 hours, but we evolved and rocked up this morning in a different mindset and feel like we had done more groundwork yesterday than what we thought we had. We just probably didn't have the sense to piece it all together 4 or 5 o'clock yesterday, but this morning was better.
Each other's strengths. I think that was like a key component of it as well, and we did set that from the outset. I think there was a bit more norming and storming than we probably needed to spend time on, but definitely looking at what were the skill sets, whether it's tech, whether it's other things as well.
Oh, thank you. Great.
Can I ask one quick question?
Yeah.
There's multiple platforms across government where work comes in. Where do you think's the sweet spot for this?
High volume, like I said, where you're dealing with work queues, combined inboxes for people which have multiple tasks coming through to them. Everything from a service desk to a public-facing area where there's applications of any sort that come through that require responses. Yep.
Is there time for a question?
You can, or you can save it for the next one. You have a couple.
Save it to the next group.
Yeah.
No, just for that. Now I'm going to ask my question. So I'm
Quick
imagining
one, yep.
sitting here as the boss, and I'm watching everything flow through, and the machine is telling me this person is underemployed, so push some more tasks there. And I'm turning some little knobs here, right? I'm controlling the parameters. I can make things flow. I can punish this guy, and I can give this one an easy time and stuff. How do you control, actually, the way that work is allocated and the way work is tracked, and that everything works as it should, rather than as some kind of nefarious manager might want to do?
It's about setting the parameters at the start that allows the system to do the smarts that won't allow double allocation and pieces like that you don't have a contradiction within the logic that goes in. It is based on data, not on a name. So it's not, you have X amount of people that are labelled all with the same skill set, it will not differentiate between those people. It will only know that there is a skill set and a task and that aligns, therefore it's assigned. So it's not about a single person, it's about the data and the attributes that are built into that.
Thank you for the questions, and thank you for being the first team. Well done. Round of applause. And we have another team now. Innovic, if you can make your way up. And this is again for theme 1.
Just grab a seat and we'll put it up. Seat and
All good to go? Want to give one to Jess?
Yeah. Timer's not on yet. No. Not
Yeah? All right. Uh-huh. Yeah. Hey Jace, how you going? 1 month in the role, you're doing really, really well. Hey, by the way, I have an urgent task for you. We need to develop the department's emergency management plan by the end of next week. So if you could please start a draft and make sure it's aligned to the SEMP and the SAP and get a draft to me, that'll be really great. Thanks.
Wait a second. What's the plan? Where should I start?
Hi, everyone. I think at some stage we've all experienced something like that. Sorry. Our problem. So we did some research and we found that 47% of teams report that there's a degree of duplication. Around 6.5 hours a week are spent looking for that right document. And on top of that, silos and the way we work is one of the top 3 barriers to getting our work done. So we have that lack of knowledge sharing. So, like I said, we've got that duplication, increased research time, and difficulties in locating the right information.
Yeah, so what is our solution? Our solution is Brain Trust, a dynamic, safe information sharing and learning platform, which connects across the department. And so what to do is that it's a kind of a desktop research tool which would help you to access critical information, research, best practices, or design documents, anything relevant document as per which is relevant to your research and scope of work. It would help us to minimize the duplication, and it will connect us to the right expert at the right time for the right job. And also it will empower the employees, and it will give them a sense of productivity and a sense of well-being. So.
BrainTrust is like a research desktop application which collects data from various departments of WICGov. A person can search for a topic and they would get their related documents, tools, resources, you name it, on that topic. It also summarizes and produces insights. People can also contact a subject matter expert who has done research on the topic before. It has role-based access which prevents data from leaking, and it is a continuous self-learning model.
For the interface, it's user-friendly, it's straightforward, just like Google. You pop in the keywords in the search bar. In addition to that, you can also apply filters for departments, functions, and resources to guide you to the right information. You can also use the tool to connect to the right experts to talk to.
So this tool is going to solve all your problems, right? So it is going to improve your productivity. This will lead to reduced timeframes as you will spend less time researching or trying and looking for information. It will lead to better decision-making and more informed and evidence-based decision-making, as well as improve the quality of the work that we produce, because again, it will be evidence-based and will have precedence. It will improve employee well-being because people will feel better supported. There's a tool that you can go to first rather than go to people looking for subject matter experts. That will lead to less stress. It will boost productivity in that way, as well as instill confidence in undertaking any task, as well as lead to improved collaboration within teams and across the VPS. Most importantly, it will also lead to cost savings. So How? Because we will lessen the duplication of activities. It will also reduce reliance on external consultants. This will reduce the risk that we undertake because, again, we are going to rely on what has happened before and learn from that, as well as there'll be massive financial savings to it, which, hold on, we'll tell you in a little while.
Yeah, so obviously we're talking about an AI-based tool, and obviously to implement that tool, we consider there will be some challenges. So what are the challenges? Since at current state, as each state departments are still working in silos, the data linkage or the connectivity of data, sharing of data, that would be one critical issue for consideration. The quality of training data, which is used for training the AI model, that's another concern to address. And also, there is this current perception that AI is kind of looked at a negative connotation, like AI is going to take away jobs and things like that. So we have to need that change of perception of that AI, like it has to be an enabler for the department rather than a blocker. And obviously, since we are talking about a new tool, it needs an investment, it needs a buy-in from the management to start with a POC, where we could start with a few small departments and build a training model and work and see how that works. And obviously, since an AI tool needs to continuously train itself, so there is an ongoing cost for maintenance of this tool. And last not the least, that privacy of data is obviously great concern here. So if the data is properly labeled in terms of sensitivity of the data, so that privacy concern can also be eliminated.
It is a continuous learning model, so it is up to date with the current data, and it collects data from various departments and integrates into one application.
So based on our original remit, Brains Trust will aid you were watching that first, will aid in individuals to focus on what they're doing, manage their priorities, increase quality because they're working off things that are already tested and done, and increase their well-being as well because that'll reduce that stress. So as you can see the numbers here, so based on VPS has approximately 314,000 FTEs. We assumed in the first year that 10%, we get a 10% time saving because it'll be used by 80% of those people, and we get an initial saving of $62 million in the first year, projected to rise to double in the next year.
Thank you. So at first glance, it's like an individual productivity tool, but ultimately it's very beneficial to the whole of VicGov. And my finish line is, thanks to Brain Trust, I know how to start my project now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Team Innovic. Can the coach come up as well, and can we quickly introduce each of you before we go to Q&A? Yeah?
Hi everyone, I'm Jace and I'm a grad from Senitex.
Yeah, I'm Tim. I work for the Victorian Infrastructure Development Authority.
Hi, I'm Mohita, and I work in DE in the Schools and Regional Services group.
I'm Sanya. I'm a Master of IT student at University of Melbourne.
Hi, Shubhashish here. So I work in DJSIR. So I look after the grants platform, the GEMS grant platform used for delivering grants to across Victoria. Thank you.
I'm Toby Sloan, Director of Strategy for Senitex, and what a great idea. I reckon we should all vote for this idea.
Thank you.
Thank you, Toby. Are we ready for some Q&A from the judges here?
I've got one. Really curious about how you envisage the connection would work to the right experts.
Right, so in my world, I work in risk and safety. So if one of my team members is thrown something to say, okay, develop me a health and safety management plan. So they would input keywords or a prompt that would then bring up like a synopsis of what we should expect in the Victorian government, basically based on the documents that have been lodged in this system. And then attached to that will be the actual documents and the subject matter experts, the people who have developed that particular document. And so then the expectation will be, with one VPS, we should all be working together, get that phone call, get that email, hey, what was it like for you guys? What were the pitfalls? So there's no guessing and involving consultants that don't know your organisation, don't know the pressures of working in the government. Yeah, get a much better outcome.
And to add to that, like we were hoping to add a directory to this tool, so that like similar to universities where you can type in the subject matter or the topic that you want expertise on, we will get people across the VPS to list their specialty or their expertise, and then you can search for people by using keywords or the topic, and that should bring up across the VPS people that we can go to.
This, which is, I really like this idea of linking experts. So at the university, we have the thing called Find the Expert. And you type to Google, and then up comes this thing. And you see this person and their history and their publications and things. Separately, if I want to find out about papers, and I have to go to Google, and then I get papers. And then I've got to do the cross-linking. What you're providing is both, right? And then have you thought about actually taking it further and saying, it doesn't only have to be within Senatex or the government, or even Victoria, right? It could be also consultancies, it could be universities, it could be anybody who happens to have been related to some particular thing that you can point to and say, this is a good one and this is not a good one.
So obviously the stage one or the initial rollout of this tool is within the VicGov, because that's there's a boundary we have set for this, because that will address that challenges related to data security, because that is the first concern. And second is that when you are trying to build a solution first, so, and if you are talking about calling external services like Google-like services, so it has to be done through an API call, which are expensive API calls while you are trying to train your model. So what we want to do is that we want to come up with a prototype with minimum budget and minimum time. So that's why we want to focus our attention for the MVP solution would be within VicGov, and once it has got some traction within the department, it will roll out to the probably concern that if we have the data security issue more streamlined, we can roll out to the external services.
Yeah, and you're right. We did discuss, look, why keep it just Victoria? In my space at work, I talk regularly with my New South Wales and Queensland counterparts. It should really, we're all servicing the people of Australia, so federal and state governments, let's save some money for the people and give better services at the end of the day, because it's quality, it's information that's tested already, it's been tried, and so we're just replicating it, and that last 15%, the icing on the cake, will make it suit the environment it's being used in. But the groundwork, the horrible work, you might say, it's been done, the testing, and paying your consultants lots of money.
Thanks, guys. If this was to go live, say next week, who owns it?
Who owns it? Senatex. It's look, I think everyone realises in the Victorian government, we have to reduce our FTE. We have to make use of technology. There's budgetary considerations for everyone, and especially for the five of you. So I think everyone needs to own it. End of the day, it will be a money and time saver with better productivity and everything.
So who would be responsible for ensuring adoption and managing the guardrails around quality of information that gets input?
I would think the Department of Government Services would be the one leading it, because they were established. They were established to bring together the different parts of government and have one, a department that looks at regulation, standardization, looks at efficiency. So that would be, I would think, the logical way to kind of place this product. And then, and then I guess it should be shared responsibilities, co-shared by the departments, the various departments.
Fantastic sales job. To DGS to own it and Senatex to deliver it. Amazing.
Yes, and maybe Melbourne, you need to fund it.
DJCS, you can...
We might might have time for one more, but if not, then we're all good. All right, congratulations, well done. I like the one VPS. That's music to my ears. So we've got the last team here is Project Platypus, and this is the last one for individual productivity. So come on up, Project Platypus. Oh, are they in the room? Oh, they're coming. You're coming from the other side. Welcome, welcome.
This might seem familiar.
All right. I've been on this project for about 2 days now. I found 5 directories, 10 versions of the same document. I've got no idea who owns this data. Last update was in 2021, and the person who's made it, well, they're gone. No notes, no context. What a waste of time. Team, what are we supposed to do about this?
So, you may have seen some earlier stats from some of the earlier teams. We found a survey that was completed by Atlassian in March 2025, so very up to date. Australian knowledge workers spending 10 hours a week searching for information. So regardless of the stats that we're seeing that knowledge workers are spending a lot of time looking for information that's either out of date, missing, or only partially got the information that we're looking for. So what does that mean for us here at VicGov? Unfortunately, that means that if we don't have the right information, we are subject to not making decisions in an appropriate time frame, which can mean delays to work, delays to appropriate decisions, which can then escalate and unfortunately cause greater problems and harm for the Victorian public. So, what can we do about it?
Introducing Project Platypus. An assistant for finding the data you're looking for across teams, across divisions, departments perhaps, using access to metadata rather than full data, only revealing what you have access permissions for. Able to compare reference data in file contents to check which version is best or more up to date. Able to help with requesting access to data. Able to help find the right contact if the data doesn't exist yet by comparing with other data that does exist and figuring out what's relevant. It's an enhancement on top of existing document search functionality in a knowledge management system. And the functionality is suitable to be integrated with a general purpose departmental AI chatbot in future as those become a thing. How does it work? It's just integrated with your existing knowledge management system, such as SharePoint or something else. With broad access to metadata across all teams, Platypus can expose the data and documents that you need when you need it and help you to contact the right people immediately. No more bouncing between contacts, waiting for people who are offline, or figuring out who has the best and most up-to-date version of a document across your organization.
So what is the ask? What are we asking from you today? On the assumption of a department with 500 staff, a one-time setup of 25,000, and this is on the assumption of using SharePoint and using average pricing of existing tools. There's a monthly recurring fee of 2,000, and that's dependent on factors listed. But imagine the benefits. There's less workplace stress. There's no more frustration looking for information and finding it inaccurate, and that equates to increased staff engagement. Hello, great place to work. Completed projects met on time. And when projects, that's minimized financial penalties, because the hours looking for incorrect information are reduced. And dollar value, that's also a cost savings of 15,000 per person. Imagine in a department of 500 staff, that equates to 7.5 million annually. When projects are completed on time, Victorians are happy. The Victorians are happy, public trust and reputation increases. So ultimately, this is not just for productivity and efficiency gains, this is for public trust. Because when VicGov staff cannot find answers, all Victorians will feel it.
So we've got the same request to work on the same project, but this time, Project Platypus is live. So yeah, tap, tap, tap. Well, that was easy. Cool. Thanks, Platypus.
Well done. I think we all do love great places to work, I think. Yeah, we can all agree on that. Thank you and well done. Can we, I know you had a slide introducing yourselves, but can we go around, introduce yourselves and also the coach? Will you come up and also introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Lou. I'm from Senitex.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm a Master of IT student at Unimail.
Hi, I'm Michael Zammett. I'm from WorkSafe, Victoria.
Hi, I'm Simon Mollimer. I'm from the Department of Education.
My name is Belinda, and I'm from the Environment Protection Authority.
Oh, fantastic. Not quite a mix. And Anthony.
Anthony Wilson, Senitex.
That was Anthony Wilson, Senitex, for those that couldn't hear. So thank you so much. And questions from our judges?
If you've got none, that's also fine.
Oh, we couldn't do that to you. Once again, thank you very much for the pitch. Time frames to implement something like this. What's your estimation?
I reckon, well, it's an estimate, but I reckon something like this as a little add-on rather than a whole new product could be integrated and set up within 6 to 12 months.
And I think there's sort of common themes starting to emerge from the presentation. So if you think about data classification in this instance, how would you go about that to making sure that the right people have access to the right information? It's a big problem in government to do that. So how would you, in terms of implementation timeframes, incorporate the data classification piece?
So I think essentially we're going for metadata only as far as what the bot has access to. That provides a decent level of protection from sensitive leakage because a lot of the sensitive information is in the document rather than the title of the document, who owns it, etc. Now, obviously, there will be documents where there is sensitive information in the metadata, and the idea would be to make sure that protected areas exist where those documents can go and therefore not be accessed by a tool like this. We can also make use of existing sensitivity markers which are being deployed in some departments at this time. I believe my department's currently implementing that, so yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, on top of that too, we'll be working closely with the data governance teams. I know some departments do already have a data governance framework in place. So this will be, I suppose, working with that, if that already exists, and if not, working with, I suppose, the teams that will be associated and help them develop that too, since that would be a key input into the platypus.
What do you see as the major barriers for implementation?
It's one of those things. We noticed that we had the option of tossing up between a fully standalone system or integrating with something existing. So we did notice that if we were to introduce something new and standalone, there was going to be barriers with, I suppose, getting that acceptance, user acceptance from existing processes into something that's a whole new environment and whatnot. So that's why we opted for doing that add-on, because we even noticed that not every department uses the same knowledge management system as well. Just through discussions amongst our team, we had various KMSs. So we're like, okay, well, we can't use the one, but we need a way that we can talk to whatever one is in play. So by introducing it as an add-on on top of an existing platform, it's an opt-in basis. No one has to use it, but they do have the option there on top of the existing search functions that
So
might not be
it's
suitable.
Integration to existing knowledge management data storage environments, not curated data. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
How did you go about coming up with a solution as a team?
I was going to say, asking lots of probing questions. It was fairly evident that where we had a bit of, and as has been noted, there's a bit of a broad spectrum of what our roles are and what we do relative to work, and a lot of that isn't necessarily IT. But yeah, thinking that helped, I suppose, in the sense, because some of us are thinking of it as users who don't know the other end
of what's going on, and yeah, just getting the sticky notes out, getting the boards out, trying to see what sticks. We ended up with a very long list of problems and a very long list of solutions, and this was the one that we thought was the best. So yeah, just throwing it all in.
And who chose the name?
That was Simon here.
I like it.
Yeah, so do we.
We probably have time for one more question if you have one.
Luke's muting me. Well done, guys. Both of those ideas are excellent, and I liked that yours is at the meta level and you thought about access, because not everyone should be able to see everything. I look after FOI as well, so I spend a lot of my time thinking about it from that lens as well. So I've really appreciated the thoughtfulness of how that all came through. It sounds as though what you are saying is you'd be more focused on operationalising it quickly rather than on making sure you deployed for a whole department or a whole, subset of the Victorian Public Service. But you do get better benefits the more people that are using it. So mindful of the fact that we're all using different systems, did you think through how you might stage a transition towards something that brought us all closer together eventually, or what was your thinking there?
I suppose the thing that we had thought about, given that the theme was about team and individual productivity, we had initially focused on that, but the idea was that it was more scalable across departments necessarily than being able to be done across all of them at once. It wasn't the intention, given the theme, to be like, okay, this is something that we're going to put across all of the VPS at once. We wanted it to be something that was agile, that we could, work together piece by piece. And again, the benefits of it mean that you get more of a natural uptake in that sense.
That's my view of it too. You pilot it almost,
Yes.
and you develop the framework and the guidelines, and then it shows people how to transition and onboard.
That's
becomes
exactly
better
correct.
and better.
Yep.
It's awesome. Well done, guys.
Another round of applause.